he took the business and went on and did some really good things. Wasn't my thing, but I didn't get in business at the time, and I was 23 years old. So I wasn't I wasn't looking for success. And I, you can define success many different ways.
Sure.
So what we were looking for, and I'm not even sure, that I consciously sat down and said, we're going to start this company, and, in 10 years, it's going to be this size, and we're going to, it wasn't we had a project. We had something we wanted to create, and all we were focused on was creating it.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I got to sell it, but first I got to create it. Then I got to sell it. Now, if I sell a lot of them, it means I got to make a lot of them. How am I going to do that? And as you really focus in on the mechanics there, because that's what, first of all, I have a vision of a product I want to make. So now I got to make it. I got to create it. I got to figure out how to do it so that I can, because I want to do a lot of them. So I got to figure out how to do them in mass. Then I got to go out once I've created this thing and figured out, a feasible way to do it at a reasonable cost. Now I got to go out and sell it. And once I sell it, then I got to start making it. And if I sell, and then I keep selling, I have to keep making. Then I got to deliver. I got to do all these things.
Yeah.
And so I was just focused on that. I didn't really think about, wow, how big is this going to get? Is this going to be a career? Is this going to be a real company? It wasn't really in my scope of goals.
Yeah.
My goal was to be able to create, sell, and then hand a finished product to a consumer and then them enjoy it, like it, and say, wow, this was a great purchase. That's really what was our goal.
Yeah.
How big were we going to get? I don't know that it wasn't important. That all comes with, and I'm a true believer in not thinking about money.
Mm-hmm.
when I'm thinking about my company and what I'm trying to achieve. I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about achieving my goals in building good products, making them, delivering them to the consumer at a good price, and standing behind that. And I feel if I do that and I stay focused on that, the money will come.
Yeah.
The success will come.
Sure. So do you remember selling your first grill and how you sold that, what you said about that? I mean, was the quality there, and how did you pitch that first grill, and how did it feel after you sold the first one?
Yeah, that was a big deal. It was at a home show, and it was a big deal to go to that home show. And I think we sold like 12 outdoor kitchens at our first home show that we did. And, yeah, it was first of all, it was a big challenge, because we're selling, back then, this is in 93, a high-end grill was $350.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was an expensive grill. And we're coming to market with grills for $1,200.
Uh-huh.
So, we're talking to the consumer, explaining to them about the barbecue, and, here you got a refrigerator, and you can have your food right here, and, and your soda or beer or whatever. And when you're ready to cook, you can pull your food right out of the refrigerator. The grill's right here. You have preparation area, you have serving area, and there's a sink here. You want to wash your hands, dishes, your utensils. So, we were selling the whole concept. We found 12 people to take a chance on us. I do remember our first customer was a young couple, and it was a great feeling. And it, it's a feeling that motivates you to move, that you did all this work and now it actually, somebody else wants it.
Yeah.
You can always satisfy yourself by saying, yeah, this is a great product, or this is, but when somebody else says it's a great product, then that's a big win.
Yeah, and just from this short conversation, I could tell you were the kind of guy, you made your sales, you went back and like, holy shit, we better get these things built and out the door so we can sell some more.
Right. And as being a manufacturer, though, that's important. As in any manufacturing challenge, you're trying to meet production. The more you sell, the more you got to make, and so you as you develop your product, you have to keep those things in mind, because it's always as your company grows and you have to produce more, you always want to maintain the quality. And so you have to always think about that in development. And when you're developing the product, how can I do this in production and maintain the integrity of the product? So it's important. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of different aspects of manufacturing and owning a business, and they all have their challenges, and thinking those out. I know as a manufacturer, my challenges, and of course I've had to learn a lot of them, most of them the hard way. So it's always fun.
Yeah, we call that paying the dummy tax. So hopefully others can learn from your mistakes. So you started this in '93, and then you quickly ramped up. And at what point did you realize this thing was going to be a sustainable big business? I know later on you changed your grill design a little bit and more of an economic style thing. But when did you realize this was going to be a mover for you guys?
That's a question I'm not sure I can answer. I don't know that we had a moment where we said, okay, we have a business here.
Uh-huh.
Part of that is because from day one, it wasn't like I had a job and I was doing this on the side, and there was a time when I said, I'm going to quit my job now and I can do this full time. I was young enough that I was able to, just do it from day one as my full time focus. And like I said, back then I had no responsibilities. It was easy. People who start businesses when they're married and have kids, they have there's a different challenge there. So I don't know that there was the day when we said, wow, we have a real business here. Mm-hmm. Was there a moment that it just evolved? And there was times when things were happening fast and quickly, and then there was times when they were moving slowly, and you really had a lot of time to think. And the biggest part there was we were in a business that created good cash flow. We really never created debt. We were able to make it because we're in a seasonal business. Our winters were dead. Mm-hmm. I mean, our first couple winters, we had a basketball court set up in a hoop set up inside the factory, and we used to play basketball. Mm. I mean, just waiting for the phone to ring.
Yeah, sure.
So, but we were able to make it through that, and it was just, it was easy, but it was easy to do that because we just we weren't after fast growth. We weren't trying to make things happen overnight. We were really slow moving and took our time and evolved within our means. And there was, as you start to hire employees, and I think that's when you start to feel like you have a company.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
When you start to, and then you go, wow, yeah, we have a business here. But I wish there was a wow moment, but I can't put my finger on it.
Well, talk about some of the evolution of your company over the years. As you started to grow, you moved into different facilities and you expanded. Tell us about some of that growth.
Well, and growth is probably, for me, is probably the biggest challenge. As growing a company, you as it is always a good thing to have growth. In most cases, it's required, but it's a huge challenge. And as you go and you, employees are easy because you can hire them, you can lay them off. It's kind of fluid as far as, if I need more, you can go to a temp agency and get employees. That's kind of the easy part. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's challenges with skill levels and all those kinds of things. But when if you're going to, let's say we're going to move to another building. So we moved to the next size building, which we did. We moved we started off in 900 square feet, and now we're in 3 facilities that total, what do we total? 150,000 square feet.
Wow.
So there's, and as we did that, we have to, so you get a building, let's say you need 20,000 square feet. Well, do you get 20,000 square feet or do you get 30,000 square feet? You look for growth, and, you have to bite the bullet in the short term, but in the long term, it creates, it stops a move that you would, if I need 20 and I get 20, and then all of a sudden in a year from now, I need 30, now I got to move again.
Yeah, sure.
But if I need 20 and I get 30, I'm paying for 10,000 square feet I don't really need. Mm-hmm. And so, these are the growth things. And so we moved. We always like to buy our buildings, and we would buy them and move. And every time I walk into a building and I go, man, this building is huge. It's so big. What are we going to do with all this space? And, 3-4 years later, it's like, man, this building's too small. And it happens over and over and over. And the bigger the buildings, the cost is higher. And if you're leasing a building, then now you have to plan on the leasing. And so we tried to buy our buildings, which, we were just fortunate in being able to do that after a few years. Now, the buildings we bought, we bought a building in Ontario that was, it's a pretty old building, pretty rough, but it served its purpose. We weren't looking for anything fancy. We weren't looking for anything extravagant. We bought something cheap, and we made it work. And now we're in nicer buildings, bigger buildings, and we just keep, we just did an expansion here in Tennessee, and we're looking to build a new factory. It just it happens as we can afford, and you try to plan all that stuff out. And a lot of that's educated guess. Sometimes you buy the wrong building or you lease the wrong building, and you have to deal with it.
Mark, as I look at the timeline of your company, it seems like you went through some of the normal changes as you just talked about, growth and buildings and adding more space, ownership changes, and as well as introducing new programs and stuff. to hear your humble start with your